What up, guys? It's your host, Eric the Unit Norris here from SLC Punkcast. Welcome to Live and Wired. This is the show where me and Dustin tell you about the shows that are happening, bands that are touring, and if they're coming to a city near you or if they are coming to your city. I like to handle the city that I'm from, Salt Lake. I like to tell you about shows that are coming our way, that are happening in our city. Some of them are underground and you may not know about it. Some of them are bands that have announced their tours months ago and you've been counting down the minutes to see them. Either way, we cover it here. But first, I must regale upon you a tale from the pit. Actually, I have a couple. Last weekend it was pretty busy for me, and not in the way that you think. I saw two shows. Yeah, I went and saw two shows that had I don't know. They were, we'll just put it this way. It was on a weekend. It was on the weekend celebrating the day where alcoholics excuse their condition as a cultural subset. And I got to take part in my own bouts of sense pleasures. And yeah, I was seeing one of my new favorite punk bands live for the first time and hearing my friends celebrating St. Paddy's Day by playing a special cover set by a band that isn't Irish. So yeah, this is my tale from the pit. I'm calling it Cramps from the Spirit of St. Patrick. Now, the first show was my debut seeing of Spiritual Cramp. And I absolutely love these guys. And their last album, Rude, is one of my favorites that came out last year. I even brought the sleeve of my copy for them to sign. And I left it at the box office. The lady who takes the tickets, I asked her to store it for me while the show was going on, and she was very polite about it. Now, I was worried about how well this show would be attended because of, how poorly advertised it was, and no one I knew was talking about it. And Kilby Court didn't do much promotion for it. They didn't even have a flyer for this show. Of course, me being me, having to post about the shows that are happening in this city, I just up and decided to make my own damn flyer. And that's the one that you see there. Yeah, not too bad, huh? Anyway, there were actually a lot of people there. As the show went on, more and more people started funneling in. When I got there were just a few people, but I ran into my skinhead friends and I hung out with them for a while. And those were the only people there that I recognized. When I got there, they informed me that No Guard had just finished their set, and I was bummed because I really liked those guys, but it serves me right for showing up late. They assured me that they played a great show. I saw some footage of their set on my friends' Instagram pages, and yeah, they looked like they had a very positive response. Very, very aggressive, very hard-hitting. I mean, it's hardcore skinhead music. What do you expect? Something interesting about this show was that the band Skin Show, this local band, they were supposed to play, but I guess they didn't. I don't know what the story is behind that. All I know is that on Kilby Court's website, where you buy the tickets, they were advertised as an opening act. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they were supposed to play, and something came up, or they were never supposed to play at all, or I don't know. I don't know what happened, but as far as everyone was concerned, No Guard was the first band that night. So, I mean, it sucks, but hey, it's, whatever, 3-band bills are awesome. However, I was just in time to see Destiny Bond's set, and they were awesome. They had a very old school, second wave New York hardcore / Discord sound. Yeah, you think stuff like Judge or Dag Nasty. Hell, even a bit of Madball Biohazard type stuff. They did have some groove elements in there, but it was very much like late 80s, early 90s, that sort of cusp of heavier East Coast hardcore. Yeah, that's what I got from it. And their stage presence matched the energy of that music. Their singer, Chloe, she owned the stage. And in typical hardcore attire with her blue hoodie and black sweatpants, it's like, yeah, you see people like that. They are hardcore singers. Look like they just came out of the gym. Yeah, they're a hardcore singer. She had such a demanding voice, and she got people to move as a result. I mean, move in like, put it this way, it was some light moshing, some two-stepping, some picking up of the pennies, but it wasn't exactly a mosh crowd for the most part. I mean, these people were here to see, not Destiny Bond, Spiritual Cramp, and they are more of like a mod band, if you've heard me speak about Spiritual Cramp, or if you've listened to them, you know what I'm talking about. It's very 70s, very like early 80s, new wave, kind of post-punk material. You know what I'm getting at. You can't exactly mosh to that. You can dance to it, but not mosh in the way that hardcore guys like to mosh. But whatever the case, be that as it may, I mean, Destiny Bond still held the audience's attention, and they got them prepped for the main act. And that was Spiritual Cramp. I got up front and watched all 6 of them come out at different intervals to set up their gear, and in no time, the house lights went out, and they introduced themselves and kicked right into Go Back Home, which was one of their new tracks. Not exactly the opening track from Rude, but the song that plays after the warm-up song, I'm an Anarchist. So it's the first, real song. It's the one that has the Ramones chants, the, hey, ho, I don't want to go back home. It's a great song. And then they proceeded with some favorites, some of my favorites anyway, from their self-titled album. They did Slick Rick and Blowback. And then we got 3 servings from Rude, At My Funeral, Automatic, and Young Offenders. And that was followed directly by Addict, and then You Got My Number. And just like that, I heard most of my favorite songs from them. They could have stopped the show right there. They could have stopped it right there, and I'd have been satisfied. Okay, not really, because I still needed the full effect. And, if you go to a show and it's as exhilarating as what I just saw, you don't want it to stop a third of the way through. And no, sir, they blazed on with some with dancier numbers like Herbert's on Holiday and, what is it? Talking on the internet. I'm taking on the internet, motherfucker, just like that Pixar movie about some guy named Ralph. Anyway, they also had some odes to their love of reggae, like 850 Bryant, I Feel Bad Being Me, and Tenderloin, and a whole block of their more aggressive punk material. Upset Stomach, Dog in a Cage, and The Ice Age Isn't Fucking Coming. All 3 of them back to back to back, and that was a brutal one. They were just going nuts. And then they added on a cover of Jerk It Out by Caesars. That was met with a lot of reverence from the audience. They loved it. It was a great cover. And totally on brand for them. It just, you listen to Caesars, you listen to that song. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, despite showing visual signs of tour fatigue, every single one of them was on their game. Their guitarist, Nate Punty, and their guitarist, Ian, who was filling in for Orville Neely, who was filling in for Mike Fenton on bass. I know, it's kind of weird to follow. It's like their bassist, Mike Fenton, he had to drop out of the tour, go back home, and so their guitarist, Orville Neely, he went over to bass, and then they got their friend Ian, who came out mid-tour, learned the whole set in 24 hours, and then he's been playing with them for the last few dates. So yeah, it's just sort of it's sort of shifting. But anyway, those guys, they would all get up on the sub speakers at various points and, rip some solos or just get the audience all hyped up. People would be going there, like myself, and just wiggling their fingers at them. And of course, Mike Bingham, he would also do the same. Their vocalist, Mike Bingham. There's 2 Mikes in that band. Bingham is the vocalist. And by the way, he has his complexion, his facial complexion, he looks oddly similar to Mick Jagger. I don't know if he's gotten that ever, but that was the first thing, because I've seen pictures of him, but he's mostly wearing sunglasses, so I can't make out his whole face. But then I see, being up front, like being right next to him, face to face with him, I go, yeah, he looks like a young Mick Jagger. That is really weird. I know, that last piece of information is useless. Where was I? The performance. As those three guys, Mike, Orville, and Nate were getting on and Ian were all getting on the sub speakers and the floor monitors and just having the time of their lives. I mean, Jose Luna, he's back down holding down the fort with his sample board and his tambourine, and Julian Smith is keeping the drums in sync with everything. Then they closed out the set with they closed it strong with the explosive "Better Off This Way," and the crowd bobbed up and down, back and forth, showing the last bit of physical excitement which could be mustered to show for them. Once it was over, the guys, they all stuck around and shot the breeze with fans, myself included, while also simultaneously packing up their gear and selling merch. Jose was actually managing the merch table. And I managed to get my LP sleeves signed and my set list signed by all of them. And I expressed my gratitude for them and how much I loved Rude, and that it was one of my favorite albums from last year, and that I loved the musical breadth showcased on it. Yeah, I had a fanboy moment. So what? So fucking what, man? I loved it. It was a great show, and not bad for my first time seeing these guys. I am still pissed I missed No Guard, but hey, we got a strong skinhead community over here. I'm sure that they're going to find themselves back here. I'm sure they will. It'll be awesome to see them. I'm still really pissed that I missed them. I thought I had more time. I didn't. But anyway, on to the next one. On the actual St. Paddy's Day, me and my girlfriend Kate made it a point to hit Aces High Saloon, and even though it was in the middle of the week, we still had to go out and celebrate St. Paddy's, but mainly it was to see my friends in this sort of slung together supergroup, tribute group. It was consisted of members of the Sunnybrook Sailors and Scary Uncle Steve. Well, I mean, it was Skunk, the lead singer Skunk, with Parker, John, and Nate of the Sailors, but hence the name, Scary Uncle Skunk and the Sunnybrook Sailors. Now, Skunk had been around playing in various bands, but his most notable would be the ska band Dubbed, and his folk punk band, Scary Uncle Steve. And Parker, yeah, he's had his fingers in various projects, and so has John and Nate, but their biggest project right now is the Sunnybrook Sailors. So yeah, they're all over the place, but in the best way possible. And now so of course they all decided to come together and form this little tribute band for, I'll get to that in a minute. Basically, the structure of the show, it was really funny. It was like there was a block of the group's tribute set, Scary Uncle Skunk, and it was sandwiched between two halves of a Captain Daniels set. And I missed the first one. Yeah, seems to be the theme for this weekend, showing up late. But I did arrive just in time to see the cover band set, the band that I actually wanted to see, the set that I wanted to hear, the songs that I wanted to sing to. And what artists were they covering? They were covering the railway folk punk infused band Mischief Brew. I like to call it railway folk because, you think of the rail yards and people just hopping on trains with guitars in their hands and just sort of singing their way through, talking about that nomad life. Yeah, that was Mischief Brew for me. That was always the vibe I got from them. Just train hopper folk punks. Regardless, those guys, Mischief Brew, they were around for almost 20 years, from 2001 until their singer and guitarist Eric Peterson committed suicide in 2016. Tragic as fuck. And he left behind quite the roster of folk punk ragers in his wake. And SUS and SBS, That's the acronym I'm giving for this group. Opened their set with one of their most seminal, the most seminal of such, Roll Me Through the Gates in Hell. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. See you in hell, boys. Oh, yeah. It's great. It was a great song to start off the set with, and I yelled that chorus as loud as I could as I was in line waiting for my beer, because I had just entered. I just got in line. Well, what constitutes as a line at this bar? just waiting for the barkeep to take my order. Unfortunately, they did not have Guinness. They were all out of Guinness. I'm like, what type of St. Paddy's Day is this if you come celebrate by having a pint of Guinness? The only other bar I could get it at was Piper Down, which is the Irish-themed bar of Salt Lake City. And trust me, you don't want to be there on St. Paddy's Day unless you're like planning on being out all night. It is... Yeah, it's rough over there. I worked that night. I worked the St. Paddy's Day weekend. Yeah, it was my first day as a bouncer over there. So quite a trial run. Anyway, are we talking about my history? Are we talking about the band here? Anyway, Through the Gates of Hell. Great song to start off their little set. And they continued on with hits like Busker's Wages, Thanks Bastards, and Gimme Coffee or Death. That's a great one. And then they went on with some deeper cuts like Old Time Memory and Rebel's Romance. And then Squatter Envy, on which they brought up Andy Patterson to rip a harmonica solo. I got just a few seconds of it. You can hear it here, but I missed the most of that solo. But trust me, it was good. And they also, despite some reservations on account of not having practiced it, closed the set with my favorite Mischief Brew song, Coffee, God, and Cigarettes. It wasn't planned, and it almost didn't happen, but that's what made it even more special. And they retired from the stage, leaving only Parker to do a one-man show, singing two covers by the Pogues and John Cale. The one by the Pogues, that was Pair of Brown Eyes, which is a wonderful song, one of my favorite Pogues songs. And the other was a song by John Cale, they're Taking It All Away. Taking it all away. Let's see. Anyway, that was... What am I saying? I'm going on next. You had to have somewhat of an Irish theme sprinkled in. Somewhat. Soon after, he was joined by the rest of the Sunnybrook crew. All the sailors came out to finish out the night. And they rounded it out nicely with anthems like Fuck You, I'm Drunk, Ballad of a Tin Man, and their cover of Ghost Riders in the Sky. With the shanty Shackleton spliced in the middle of that. Because they are sailors after all, so it kind of makes sense. So, it was a great show from all parties involved, and it was overall an excellent way to celebrate a, albeit comparably subdued, St. Paddy's Day. I know that most people out there, especially on the weekend leading up to it, lots of people out there drinking, getting their Irish on, as they like to say, but... As I said at the top of this review, it's the holiday where alcoholics excuse their actions by calling it a cultural subset. You're not even Irish. I bet your great-great-grandfather was Irish. Maybe. My great-great-grandfather was Irish. But don't use that as an excuse to drink. No, I'm Italian. We drink a lot of wine. Gotta love the stereotypes. Anyway, those are my tales from the pit this last St. Paddy's Day. It was a fun time overall. Yep, I got no complaints. Well, except for one. I do wish, and really this is just nitpicking, I do wish that at Spiritual Cramp that they played Violence in the Supermarket. I wish that they played that one. Oh, wait, that's the... No, that's the Clash song. The Violence in the Supermarket. No. I had it right the first time. Yeah, Violence in the Supermarket. Yeah, I wish that they played that one. One of my favorites. Definitely my favorite dub track that they did. But, you can't win them all. And I do wish that, Skunk and Parker did a cover of I mean, I'm so happy that I got Coffee God and Cigarettes. I'm happy that I got that one. I will rest easy on that notion. But I do wish they played Children Play with Matches. That is another great one. Yeah, but bitch and moan. Be lucky that you got that set anyway. Anyway, guys, those were my tales. Now let's get into shows that are coming up. And buddy, it's gonna be a pretty loaded week this week, going on from now, the 21st into the 29th. So on the 21st, let's start from right there. Let's start with the Transmissions from the Dead EP release show, from Reapers in the Sky, accompanied by the Goonbats, Death Persona, and Cinder. That's going to be at Aces High. It's a $10 show, and it's going to start at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, the final show to take place at Poser Palace before we shut down officially. I alluded to this last week when I was talking about the show that I played there. Or was it the week before? One of the last Tales from the Pit was the last show that I played at the Poser Palace, and I said that should have been the salvo. That should have been the end of it. That should have been the last show. But no, we still had one more coming up. And not to downgrade this show, I'm sure it's still going to be awesome. I love the bands on this bill. The main reason I'm keeping it going is because these are my friends. The Debasers, Molotov, and Counterviolence. You know, they're all awesome people, and I don't want to stop a show just because, well, at this point, just vanity. You know, but along with some other reasons, but, you know, that's just dipping into my personal life, and you're not here to hear my fucking qualms with certain people and how things are going on in my life. I mean, you're just here to know about what shows are happening. And this show is happening at my house. Yeah, it's going to be $10, and it starts at 6 p.m. 3-band bill, gonna be a tight one. Gonna be super tight. I'm excited. It'll be a nice send-off for this house venue that I ran for almost 2 years. It was fun. Anyway, enough of that. What's next? Spy, Knife Point, and Skin Show. Hopefully they'll play this one. I'm joking, but yeah, why would you want to skip out on this one? Spy is awesome. Yeah, all these bands, they'll be playing a One Love copy. That is $20, and it will start at 7 p.m. And then going on to the 22nd, Cottonmouth, Bloody September, and Horizontally Blessed. Oh, you're fat. They'll be playing up in Ogden at Black Lung Society. It's $12 and starts at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, down here back in Salt Lake, Backhand is releasing their new album, Race to the Bottom, and this will be their release show with Airvent Dweller, Transmitter, and Mother of None. That's going to be at Kilby Court. It's going to be $10, and it starts at 7 p.m. So get your ass out to that one. I really, 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 really love Backhand. I love their music. I love their onstage energy. And I love the people in that band. They are just so nice, so fun. Those Owens brothers are just, they're just really sweet guys. Really sweet guys. I guess Provo really does churn out some nice people. That's where they're from originally. So yeah, that's going to be a great show. I'm going to try my best to make it out to that. I don't think I have anything else going on, but not that should be a deciding factor. Forget what I said. Just disregard that last comment. We'll just keep going and off awkward this. The 24th. The Linnaeus Garden Weight of the World tour is coming to Salt Lake with, yeah, that's Linnaeus Garden. So yeah, the Weight of the World tour. I like that. It was a little rocky the way that I said it, but Linnaeus Garden Weight of the World tour. There you go. Coming to Salt Lake with our friends at Molotov and Secret Souls and Venus Death Trap. They're going to be playing at the International. It's a free show. Free show, so get your ass down there if you got nothing else to do. It's in the middle of the week, so you better, yeah, if that doesn't get you down there, I don't know what will. Anyway, that starts at 8 p.m. And also shout out to my guitarist, Tara, who is also the guitarist of Molotov and Secret Souls, doing back-to-back sets that night. She is a beast. Quite a trooper, that lady. You're lucky to have her in your band if you do, and I am. So yeah. Anyway, enough enough praising the people in my band. Let's talk about some other shows that are happening that night. We have also In Your Pocket presents We Might Die, Baghead, Yesterday Erased, and Lounge Monkey. That's going to be up at Black Lung Society. It is a $10 show that starts at 7 p.m. And then there is the Time Under Tension Tour featuring the band War on Women, Oceanator, and Fight the Future. That is going to be at the Beehive. It is $20 and it starts at 7 p.m. And then on the 26th, Circle 7, Begging for Beautiful, Negative Order. Oh, that's it. We'll be playing up at Black Lung Society. That will be $12 if you have cash, $15 if you have Venmo, because, transfer fees, that fun shit. Nah. So yeah. But not that big a difference. Anyway, it starts at 7 p.m. And then the 27th, get ready for this one, folks. Get ready for this one. This is going to be a loaded day. So pick your poison on this one. First, there is going to be the Salt Lake Peace and Justice Benefit Show. It is going to feature the bands Camo, Venus Death Trap, Grump, and Westmax. Yeah, I know some of those logos are hard to read. It looks like this flyer was scribbled together, but hey, it's punk rock, man. What do you expect? That's going to be at the Garf House. That's the nickname. That's the shortened version of the Garf Art Funkel House. That's literally what it is. I haven't been there yet, so I couldn't tell you where it's at. So ask a punk where it is. And it's, bring donations, pay what you can. It is a benefit show for Salt Lake Peace and Justice. So your money is going to a good place. So do that. Starts at 6 p.m. Get out there if you can. And then over, courtesy of our friends at Wild West Booking, they will be housing the band Angel Dust and Homefront and Beton Army and Odd Man Out over at the Fellowship Hall. And yeah, the flyer does say that there's more to be announced. I'm sure there's going to be one local opener. I can't tell you which one. Probably like, I don't know, Sewn Shut or Forever War or one of those darling Salt Lake hardcore bands. But I digress. Those are the guys who are definitely playing. They will be at Fellowship Hall. It's $25 and it starts at 7 p.m. And then for all you guys who got their ears gauged and wear fitted caps and have like straight black hair courtesy of your sister's flat iron. Yeah, I'm talking. You know who you are, you fucking deathcore kids. If you still believe that deathcore is a thing, well, so do these guys. Slaughter to Prevail, Whitechapel, and Attila, three of the biggest deathcore bands from the 2000s and onto the 2010s, are coming to the complex. That is a stacked lineup for $60. Yeah, $60. But, hey, that's $20 per band, which is still a little steep, but, it's just how it is. So, yeah, if you guys still are into the chugga-chugga stuff, yep, that's going to be happening. Like I said, the 27th is pretty loaded. That starts at 7:30. And, but if you guys like your metal a little softer, you still like the breakdowns, but like some more sing-songy parts and maybe a little more humor thrown in, that's not the lowbrow potty humor of Attila. No, not even potty humor. I'm talking about the party frat boy cocksucker. Those type of the chode humor. Anyway, I am of course talking about The Devil Wears Prada. This is for all you metalcore kids. And for your slightly less heavy metalcore kids, 4 Years Strong and Split the Chain and I Promise the World. That itself is a pretty decent lineup, and it's cheaper. It's only $44. It'll be at the Depot, and it starts at 6 p.m. And finally on that day, the 27th, Prickaganda is at it with a new, well, not exactly a festival, but it is like a nice showcase with, that they're dubbing the Aces High Saloon's Bad Brawl Beatdown. And that's going to feature Atypical Heroes and Pirates of the Promised Land. I'm like, okay, great. When I think Beatdown, I don't think ska and poppy skate punk, but sure, go on. Jesus Rides a Rickshaw and Wicked Temple. Okay, now those are the heavy bands on there. So, I mean, especially Wicked Temple, they sort of dub themselves Beatdown Thrash. And yeah, I would have to agree. That's pretty much what they are. So, it's got Beatdown in there somewhere. And don't get me wrong, I love Pirates of the Promised Land. I love Atypical Heroes. Those are my homies. I love those guys. I love their bands, love their music. I played shows with them many times. They're just not heavy. When you think of a beatdown, I don't think of ska music. But whatever, it's a mixed genre bill. I'm stoked that that's happening. And hey, it's also called a beatdown because people are slamming it down in the ring. That's the Lucha Project. This is one of their shows. This is one of their fucking showcases, and bands are going to be playing in between their little theatrical parts and their little skits. It's going to be a hell of a show. That's going to be so much fun. Going to be a fun time for sure. And it's only $20. And the sumbitch starts at 6:30, so get there early just to make sure that they stay on schedule. Just to make sure. Okay, and then we're going to roll into the 28th. And 28th, this is also, folks, a very big day. A very big day. Not as big as the 27th. Actually, no, just as big. Never mind. So, let's start off with Jaws Presents. Jaws Presents a hardcore X hip-hop show. This is going to feature Sectide, Razor Crow, Sea-Doo, and Cab Psychotic. So yeah, hardcore metal mixed in with like these harder, more psychotic rappers, these MCs. The type of MCs that appeal to the modern day metal hardcore community. That type of stuff. Anyway, that'll be at Fellowship Hall. It's $10, starts at 6 p.m. And then Do Not Resuscitate, Angel Slaughter, Vape Plug, and The Regulators all be playing up at the Beehive. That will be at 6 p.m. Don't know the price on that one. Well, you'll find out when you get there. Or just look on their site. Then over at Aces, Antebellum, Yalto Miklan, Mormon Tabernacle Fire, and Stillborn King will be playing over, as I said, Aces High Saloon. That is also a $10 show. Kind of nice. Starts at 8 p.m. And for some of the bigger shows out here, you have the Wonder Years. And they're doing their No Closer to Heaven anniversary tour with Knuckle Puck and Initiate. So all you pop punk pizza core kids, this one's for you. It's going to be at the Complex. It's $50 and it starts at 7 p.m. And finally, Lamb of God is returning to Salt Lake. This is the show I'm desperately trying to get into. I mean, it just, it's the tickets are still available. They're just damned expensive. Damned expensive. They're getting up to like $100. Oh, fucking. I know, I wince at the thought of that. Especially when Lamb of God's like the only band I want to see on there. I mean, I like Sanguisugabog, and Fit for an Autopsy was never my cup of tea, and Kublai Khan, I never really was into beatdown stuff, and given their singer's posts lately, if you've been following Kublai Khan's Instagram, or if you've been following Johnny Tsunami's Instagram page, he's got some... He's from Texas. I'll just say that. I don't want to point fingers or anything like that, but I just can't. I can't turn a blind eye to some of the shit he's been posting on there. I like to think he's just sort of taking the piss and just being a fuckboy, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of him, but it's stupid what he's doing. Just look it up. You'll know what I mean. So yeah, I'm kind of at a predicament here. Do I just pay $100 to see the one band that I want to see, that I've seen before many times? And knowing that part of this money is going to the guy who's making some pretty stupid racist posts. Are they jokes? Or is he just hiding something? Okay. That's my cross to bear. Don't you worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'll figure it out. Anyway, finally, March 29th. Let's end this nicely. Let's end this very nicely. Another Jaws Presents show. Exatoire, and Mummy and Melioria and My Pet Spider and Beretta are playing all at the Fellowship Hall. All at the Fellowship Hall. Wonder if that should be a tagline. Yeah, that's a $12 show. It starts at 7 p.m. And finally, our friends in the Menzingers are going to be coming through with I Am the Avalanche, and that's going to be over at Metro Music Hall. It's $47, and it starts at 7 p.m. Anyway, this was a particularly loaded episode, guys. It's definitely not one of the longest ones I put out, especially in recent memory. But once we get all the, I'm looking at my time. I have I just passed 35 minutes worth of dialogue here. And then we're going to have to put in like all the videos and and the intro. And then Dustin, of course, has his piece. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy episode. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you saw the timestamp. You saw the length. So you knew what you were getting into. But hopefully I entertained you enough in those X amount of minutes. So, guys, thank you once again for joining me for another episode of Live and Wired and Tales from the Pit. It's always fun. It's always fun reminiscing and sort of reviewing these shows that I have gone to and sharing my experiences with you. That's all we really do. It's all I've really been doing for the last 13 years, ever since I became a published journalist. And I'm still doing it independently to this day. And I'm still not getting paid for it. I don't expect to be getting paid for this gig. Man, we come down with so many cease and desists. Well, but I don't want to give the lawyers any money. We're not monetizing. We're not monetized. We're not making money off of this video, to say the least. But, the overlords will find a way to take advantage of us. They always do. But hey, we always find a way to fight back, right? Right. Okay, once again, guys, I am Eric, the Unit Norris. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Live and Wired and subsidiary Tales from the Pit. I hope that you guys are able to make it out to some shows this week, and hopefully when you do, you have a lot of fun and you stay safe and you don't return and that you return unscathed. But if you don't, at least you'll have a story to go along with it. Once again, guys, Eric the Unit Norris from SLC Punkcast, Live and Wired, and Tales from the Pit, signing off. I'll see you in the pit, motherfuckers.
Thank you, Eric. Now I got just a couple to add to the list here. The Casualties are starting their Detonate tour. Their album's coming out at the end of the month. Drowns will be joining them for the second half, it looks like. They're going to kick it off on April 1st in Austin and then do El Paso, Albuquerque, Phoenix, San Diego. And you can see on there a lot. They're actually going to end their tour here at Aces High on May 21st. I'll get into more of that as we get closer to those dates. But just so you know, those are upcoming, so go check them out. Next up, let's go to Grade 2, wrapping up part of their tour anyway. They're going to be doing at the end of the month, it looks like they've got Nottingham on the 28th, Leeds on the 29th, Manchester on the 30th, and Glasgow 31st. Oh, even April 1st. In Bristol, London on the 3rd, and Isle of Wight, hometown for them, on the 4th, and then a lot of the rest of those are a bit later. But they're out on tour, so make sure you go check them out. This tour is resuming here. The Circle Jerks, Gorilla Biscuits, 7 Seconds, Negative Approach, Murphy's Law, Cruel Hand, Cosmic Joke. As you can tell, not all the bands at all the spots, but you can go see the flyer or go to Circle Jerks band, Gorilla Biscuits, whoever. Any of those bands probably. But the tour resumes on March 27th, Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati on the 28th, 29th, and McKees Rocks, PA, Allentown on the 31st, Baltimore on the 1st, Philly on the 3rd. That's the left column. We'll get into more of the others as we get a little closer to those dates. This tour is continuing. They were just here in Salt Lake. Today, they'll be in L.A., Tijuana, Mexico on the 22nd, Phoenix on the 23rd, 24th in Dallas-Fort Worth, Springfield, Missouri, that is, on the 26th. You're going to see No Guard, Spiritual Cramp, Dead City, Basic Needs, Destiny Bond, and that kind of gives you the idea of who is where by the little symbols next to the name based on the flyer. April 1st, they'll be in Indianapolis, and then there's a bit of a pause for the rest. So as that gets closer, we'll probably get into more details on that one. This weekend, Blisterhead, well, I mean, those three of those shows are not happening. They happened already. There you go. Oldenburg today, though. on the 21st in Germany, and then they've got some more shows coming up later in the year. And then what do we got? This Partisans show, Wednesday the 25th. It is sold out. That is a pre-CY Fest, because I believe the CY Fest was actually canceled. A lot of bands dropped out. The pre-shows, I'm not sure if those did. Obviously, this one canceled out. I think the Partisans talked about giving all of the money they make from this show to a charity there. Go look them up. You can get more of those details. But killer lineup nonetheless on that one for a sold-out show. If you're going, great. If you're not, if you don't already have your ticket, that is, well, we all missed out in that instance. And then we're going to wrap up with this New York Hound show on March 27th. It's 11 p.m. Damn, that's fucking late. With Haywire, Smashing Time, Jerry Rig. That'll be in New York City. Address is there on the left, $20. And yes, it is 11 p.m. That's fucking late, man. But nonetheless, it's going to be a killer lineup. Go check it out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this week's Live and Wired. Eric's Tales from the Pit will be back probably early next week, because I'll be gone on our regularly scheduled day. So enjoy. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you reach out and let us know if there's anything we should be adding to these.